Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host. Head in studio with me over there, Q Money Magic. What's up, Q?
Another beautiful day. How about yourself?
I was good, man. I'm good. Good. Little rush there at the end. But, hey, guys, we're broadcasting live from Rumble.com. Go check us out, Rumble.com. I see you over there early, guys. Who's going to be the first to chat? I can't wait. All right, also broadcasting from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. Guys, go check out my folks over there at C-Safe, also SCA, just like the ocean. This segment's brought to you by those fine folks over in Acadiana. All right, hey, also give a little shout out to our Lieutenant Governor, man. He's doing a good job over there. So the Rose Bowl is coming up, New Year's Day, and they have the famous Rose Bowl Day Parade. All right, well, the Lieutenant Governor, very limited, as every office should be, limited in scope. One of it is tourism and promoting Louisiana. Pretty sweet gig, that part at least. I don't know all the everything that goes into the job, but it's a pretty sweet gig.
If I were Lieutenant Governor and became governor, my first act would be to call a special election and return to being Lieutenant Governor.
I've heard people say that. I have heard people say that. Yes, it is. But it's hard to mess the gig up. I mean, you've had some people that have gone in and been not so good in other offices. Just saying. All right. But Billy seems to be doing a good job, Billy Nungesser. All right, so if you look at the New Year's Day Rose Bowl parade, you'll notice Louisiana has a pretty unique float. That's a lot of hard work, and I thought, I didn't know the roses were real, to be honest with you. So I thought I really didn't. Did you? You had no clue.
I had no clue.
You see? So the roses are real. You have to not only obviously get new roses, because the floats are made out of roses, all right? But you have to change your design. So every year they have to do this, and it's becoming a thing. Not only that, but the Macy Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York. It's so hey, there's multiple ways to be bold and be on the forefront and maximize your exposure in a positive way. And this is one. So good. Always like when Louisiana is highlighted in a positive light. All right, now my friends up there in Minnesota. It's not our intent to cover this every single day, but hey, it's the info that keeps informing. I don't know, developing. All right, this one's coming from a New York Post article, at least what I'm relying on today. I mean, pick your flavor. Every day there's like 3 or 4 sources we could go off of. So we're reporting new details on that. You know that Minnesota daycare deal we covered yesterday?
Didn't they have some spelling issues?
Yeah, the spelling's not their. They don't have many tutors in spelling right now.
They got in trouble for leering at people, didn't they?
All right, so Quality Leering Center. That's the one on the sign outside the door where that very young reporter goes in there. You can look at my Facebook, all my social media pages and check it out. Good dialogue. It said a Quality Learning Center. And, I could understand if they were on a shoestring budget. When you got Uncle Sugar paying millions, like, come on, man, fix that sign. I had some guy on, I think it was Facebook, one of the comments I saw say, well, it could actually be leering. And you saw that one? Yeah. So something about Ireland. Okay, got it. Yeah. Don't think that's where they were going. I don't think that's where the Somali folks were going.
Nope.
I mean, think about that. All right, so here's what's new and worth your time, because a lot of people are covering this. So neighbors over there around the daycare center, they start to say that they come out publicly. They say they have never seen kids going in or out of this place until yesterday, which is like a few days after the video went viral where the Leering Center, come on, man. Y'all can't afford it. You can't afford it. Y'all didn't think to put in. I bet if it was in Somalian, they'd be writing it right. I mean, I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
But if we went to Somalia, they wouldn't expect us to write in any other language but theirs, I would imagine. That would be, I would think, reasonable. But anywho, so yeah. So kids all of a sudden mysteriously approach at the Learning Center. When reporters showed up, about 16 to 20 children were suddenly present yesterday, which locals described as highly unusual. What? The center is reportedly funded to serve close to 100 kids. That's a lot of federal money when we, if we have time, we'll break it down. We'll see where the discussion takes us. All right, so management said, hey, it's all good, man. They blamed the sign typo on a graphic designer and said the video caught them before opening hours. Come on. Come on.
Where did they hire the graphic designer?
Well, first of all, that sign didn't look new.
Oh.
Okay? I mean, man, but you know what? These guys, these folks, these little foreign fraudsters, they had 4 years of just willy-nilly. I mean, can you blame them? It's like we cover some of these other frauds in these programs, and you've seen some here locally. It's sad, abuse of that kind of stuff. And the only way I can think of it, I try to process it because it's hard to understand that stuff. I just think they play a numbers game. It's a dangerous numbers game. And I don't know anybody that's won that game, by the way. But I don't hang around them either, so I don't know. But these guys have gotten away with it. They had cover from Representative Omar. They had cover from Governor Walz, big time. He's in some heat. He's in some heat. His snow is melting. Yeah, so management over there, they said, leave us alone. The typo on a graphic designer, it's his or her fault, or they or she or him or they, or whatever it is. Employees grew hostile towards reporters, by the way, and then they mentioned lawyers. Federal authorities are already running a massive investigation, which we've covered, into Minnesota's broader daycare social service fraud scheme. We covered that yesterday. You can check us out on rumble.com, YouTube as well. And this specific center, they have not been charged, but they sit squarely inside larger probes. I would say that. All right, so let's take a tiny little break. When we get back, man, we're going to pick up on this story and so much more. Let me see you over there at the Rumble chat, my friend. Stay warm and stay tuned. Good deal. You on too? Put you on too, Q.
I am now.
What up, my Rumble peeps and my YouTube peeps, all the streaming services, social medias, all the things. Hey, just a reminder, during commercial breaks, we'll leave the camera rolling a lot of times, but if you notice we'll work on our graphic, maybe make it a little more unique, But as you can see, no audio, BRB. We got about 3.5 minutes left until the radio commercial break comes back on or ends. But, man, that's some crazy stuff, huh?
It's insane.
Like the Somalia stuff, and it's not just that. It's more than that. It's the fraud that comes with all this stuff. But, yeah, now this daycare center, the Leering Center.
And then Walz comes out and calls the dude a white supremacist.
Yeah, I got that in my notes. I'm probably going to cover that here in a little bit. That's yeah, dude, like for real. That's their go-to though. That's their go-to no matter what. Disagree, racist. Disagree, whatever else. Bigot. Disagree. See, they're very tolerant until you disagree.
Amen.
All right. Hey, so Rumble, YouTube, all my streaming folks out there, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live from rumble.com. Q, how's the weather over your way?
It's been pretty good. You know, I woke up this morning. I didn't realize it was going to be cold, so at 3 a.m. I went and turned the heaters on.
See, this is a rare opportunity to our wonderful audience outside the South. This is a rare opportunity that we, too, can say universally, stay warm.
Yes.
Because if our little butts down here in South Louisiana is cold, I can only imagine up north. It's a different cold. I haven't traveled much. Most of my travels, admittedly, were with the military, Uncle Sugar. But I did notice. Oh, actually, no, I'm licensed in Massachusetts. I've been there before. Believe it or not, I practice here. But I remember going there for CLE or something, and it was cold like February. And it's right on the ocean, but it was a different cold, man. Maybe it was just when I went, because I'm sure people up there will be like, "You are crazy. It's cold up here." You got a little taste, boy. Get back down there. Anyway, guys. Hey, shout out to my folks over there at Prejean's, man. It stands. Yeah, you know, I've been to Stands a lot lately. Love those guys. Anyway, you like them too. All right, so the management over there we're talking about the whole saga in Minnesota, but I'm not going to break it down. This one's a quality learning center, but with even millions that they got, they couldn't spell the very legit, we promise business, the Learning Center, missed a little N there. What they learning over there? Not the alphabet.
I don't know, but it's almost like the alleged fraud was leering at anyone who passed by on the street, and they somehow still missed it over.
It really was the Learning Center. You're right. All right, so employees, remember, they got all hostile, all the things. There's a big probe in all this. And again, I don't want to rehash the entire Minnesota fraud saga. We have done that. We will probably cover it again. You can get a healthy dose. You actually can get a lot of good info on my Facebook page and my other social media page. But a lot of the comments, man, people post some cool stuff, post some interesting stuff too. But hey, we try to welcome as many voices as long as you ain't violating any rules or anything and play it nice. So let's talk about what actually matters. Yeah. So what jumped off the screen when I was, or let me say it differently. What jumped off the screen, this whole sign, it like, that wasn't a typo, okay? It wasn't even like the excuses. It was the timing. That's the thing. It's the timing. For years, like let's break this down. Neighbors of this supposed business say this place looked closed. It looked quiet, empty, forgotten. This is their words. And then a YouTube video drops, national media follows, and suddenly the parking lot fills up and explanations start flowing. That is a pattern. That is a pattern. And it tells us something uncomfortable but important. In Minnesota, accountability did not come from regulators. Like, these are facts. These are facts. Like, we're only going to grow as a society. I'm not just talking to Republicans. I'm talking to Republicans, Democrats, independents, and everybody in between as Americans. But we need to know, because it happened. And if it happened there, it could happen here, it could happen wherever you're at. But in Minnesota, accountability, it did not come from regulators. We can't say that. It didn't even come from bureaucrats. The accountability in this particular case came from exposure. Came from exposure. They ain't even saying they're sorry they got caught. Not yet, at least. So a guy with the camera did what layers of government oversight, which was designed to do it, failed to do. So we have to understand these facts. Again, hey, don't look at this in the lens of a Republican or Democrat. Look at it through the lens of an American. That should stop everyone for a second. Like a hot second. When systems get this big, this complex, like the federal government has become, And this disconnected from real-world verification. I mean, we're not asking for much. Behavior changes only when the spotlight turns on. Compliance becomes a performance. You don't operate to serve families. You operate to satisfy forms, the bureaucracy. You don't fear audits. You fear an audience. You fear attention. And let me say this carefully because it matters. Fraud is fraud, period. It's not about race. My gosh. It's not about immigration status. That could be a crime in and of itself, depending if you're here illegally. It's not about community either. It's about money flowing without meaningful guardrails. When billions of dollars move through programs where nobody checks the doors, counts the kids, or verifies the basics, or visits the place, or notices that the sign's not spelled correctly, this is what happens. I mean, eventually, someone notices the lights aren't on. What also stood out, to me at least, was the reaction, okay? That stood out to me very clear here, and I think it stood out to a lot of folks. Anger, phones out, lawyers invoked, claims of political targeting. Give me a break. Like even some Democrats are asking, like, dude, what is going on over here? That is not proof of guilt. I will say that, but it is what you see when a system used to operate quietly suddenly meets scrutiny. That's the crossroads of that situation. And that's what we're seeing. But again, hey, look, we're constitutional folks. Due process matters. The investigations matter. Nobody here is convicting anybody of anything, but you're going to have to, it's pretty obvious to me. These are not rhetorical questions like in some BS political campaign, like, ooh, what if, did so-and-so do this? Where's your proof? Nothing. That's political campaign. This is not that. These are like, I'm telling you what neighbors are saying. I'm telling you what other reports are saying, and we're just talking about it. That is alarming. But common sense still exists, Common sense still exists. I'm going to stretch it a little bit. Look, if a business funded for nearly 100 children looks empty until the moment reporters arrive, the oversight failed somewhere. I mean, we have to accept these facts. I am talking to a lot of my Democrat friends here. And if the roles were reversed, if it was common sense, I promise I would say, hey, my fellow Republicans, we can disagree with the other side, if you want to call it that, on what the facts mean. But we can't be so, how I can say it, intellectually immature, okay, to operate like that. We can do better, and we do most of the time. Outside of politics, we agree more than we disagree, and even politics, we agree more than we disagree, all right? But look, taxpayers were asleep at the wheel over there, and that's because their trust was violated. They trusted them. They lived their lives. That's what allowed them to be asleep at the wheel, because we elect people that, But anyway, I see the commercial break. Don't throw anything at me. All right, guys, stick around. My favorite part of the whole show, the phone lines. Open it up, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. I want to hear from you. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the Cape Pell Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on Rumble.com. My folks, my peeps, you quiet over there? I know it's New Year's, but I see the viewers. I appreciate you, and that means the most. Thank you so much. But give us a little chat. We'd love to see you. Hey, guys, also, if you haven't checked us out at Rumble, go to Rumble.com. There really is some pretty cool stuff. And they have, all the major players are there, and they allow little old me and Q over here to hang out. But we do appreciate our followers on Rumble and all of our followers. We appreciate you guys. But, give us a little follow if you haven't. Share it. Tell a friend. It helps us. It helps the cause. All of us are most of us are conservatives. Most of us want American values promoted, and we need to, we need to help platforms like Rumble do that. There we go, Robert D. Benoit. He says, "We here, dude." Hey guys, look, I'm gonna dive back into it, but first, when strength matters, you know where I'm going with this. When custom matters. When failure is not an option, my friends at C-Safe, they do deliver. SEA, C-Safe. C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. From offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between, their products are American-made over there at C-Safe and manufactured actually here, right here in Acadiana, by American workers. Check them out, csafe.com, SEA, just like the ocean, just like the Gulf of America, Mr. Blue Wave. Every time I say it now, I'm just saying. He has the Gulf of Mexico, I have the Gulf of America. Anywho, all right, let's go to, Warren's been waiting. Let's go to Warren. Sean, you're next. Warren, what you got, baby? Bring the heat today.
Well, you wait 24 hours and the news cycle change. I don't want to ever hear Somali fraud again. This is Democrat fraud. The FBI has found more. They're investigating into COVID. But it's amazing how these people have used children. They've stolen the election. Now we know they've stolen the money. We know how Cortez got rich. They were kicking that money back to them. It's been going on for a long time. The FBI is on it. The truth is going to come out. Josh, I'm going to have to probably quit talking about these people. Epstein and all them, they're so vile. I feel like I'm becoming a reviler. I ain't going to make it to heaven with you talking about the truth about these people. It just gets worse. It gets worse and worse how they steal the money and how this has been going on. And they blaming the Somalis. They got the media just distracting, calling Somali fraud. 8-10 years ago when I tried to warn people on the radio about what they were doing to kids and a certain group of foreigners, I got shut down. Now everybody knows. Now the truth is coming out. How they've stole children's innocence, all to make money and greed, Josh. But thank you, Jesus, they caught.
Amen. Thanks, Warren. Appreciate you, brother. Packs a lot. Hey, there's a lot to unfold there, but I think most of the folks get it. Let's go to Sean. Sean, bring us some wisdom, my man. What you got, baby?
Hey, man, I like what you did there. You called them intellectually immature. Well, I like to think of what they were doing with this money was financial sodomy. So we can do semantics.
Okay,
we can do semantics, but They actually blamed the Republicans for not having oversight for the money that was coming in.
You can't make that up.
That was true. They blamed. They said the Republicans were not. They were not keeping track of the money that was being given. So, yeah, that's all I got. Financial sodomy.
That's pretty good, Sean. Hey, Sean, you usually do bring a pretty good quality over quantity, man, and that's up there, brother. I appreciate you. Financial sodomy. I can apply that to a lot of things going on in government.
I'm gonna write that one down.
That's a good one, Sean. That was a good one. All right, guys, phone lines are still up. Yeah, man, I just think I think the folks get it. Let's move on to a different little topic. California. Man, we got some viewers over in California. Appreciate you guys. We got a handful. Grow. Spread the word. Rumble. It's a good thing about Rumble. It's worldwide if you have the internet. All right, so Chris Isidore at CNN. See, we diversify on our sources. Well, they're reporting that California, and I do rely on CNN on purpose here, okay? Because we're talking about California. So I figured if these guys are reporting it on California, it's not going to be like this is like the ceiling for good. So I'm giving California the benefit of the doubt by referencing the CNN stuff. Anywho, so Chris Isidore, CNN, he's reporting that California could be staring down $5 gas prices next year. Hey, with some analysts warning it could spike even higher if supply tightens further. This is important. And it is important because this matters far beyond California. Because let me tell you, those refineries feed other states like Nevada and Arizona too. And what happens there does not stay there. We are a country. We are trickled. It's a whole. I don't have enough time to talk about some of the stuff. But a few key facts here. So California is losing 2 refineries very soon. And they're not too friendly to refineries over there, if you haven't noticed. One is in the Los Angeles area, and that's going to be at the end of this. They say end of December, but they're running against the clock here. So but within a few weeks, let's just say within a month. The other one's in the Bay Area, and that one's scheduled in April to close. So together, now listen to this stat. Together, these 2 refineries account for about 17% of the state's gasoline supply. No small order there. It's only 2 refineries. Okay? California drivers already pay about $4.30 a gallon, okay? $4.30, roughly 50% higher than the national average. At some point, California, you too are exposed. I know I talk about all these little microbreweries. I call them these little shows like ours, our radio podcasts, that kind of stuff. KLO5 Plus streaming, thank you very much. But, it works for you too, guys and gals in California. You too can see that there are there's a world outside of Southern California. I've said for years now, I just feel so bad for Mexico. I really do. We won the U.S.-Mexican war, and we took all that land, and I really think we should give some back. I really do. And I would but only one part, and that's Southern California. We're going to keep Northern California. At least lately, they've been all right the last 50 years. All right, so, yeah, analysts, twice the national average? That's crazy over there in California. Analysts say losing those refineries could add another 50 cents a gallon. So that's where they're getting at the $5 gallon gas, and possibly more if anything else goes wrong. So pretty dire situation over there in regards to that. Or it could be if this continues. I don't see how it doesn't with the 2 refineries at 17% of the state's gas supply. I don't see how that is not going to have a pretty detrimental effect. But look, hey, awareness is good. So all our folks, we're talking about it. But also, hope is not lost either. Maybe they won't lose their mind. I don't know. But California is down, and just to put it in perspective, California is down to 6 refineries. 6. If one goes offline because of a fire or an accident, prices can spike very fast, very quickly. We saw the opposite effect of how volatile oil and gas is during COVID. I mean, WTI had it at negative a few hours. I mean, it was crazy. But on top of all this, okay, so we're talking about what could happen and what's reasonably could happen, not the sky is falling, because it's not, but this is going to hit some real folks. But on top of all this, California has the highest gas tax in the country at nearly 71 cents a gallon. 71. Whoa, 71 cents a gallon. So that means $1 a gallon, add 71 cents, $1.71. That is crazy. Wow. Plus a carbon tax that adds another 20 to 25 cents. Now you are over $1. For every $1 you're paying in gas, you're paying more than $1 to either to a tax, either to one of their little moral taxes, and that's what the carbon tax is. They're saying that's immoral for you to do what you're doing, so they're going to punish you to submission. I wonder if do you think that they want to, like, just use sails and, like, bicycles?
If they had their way, absolutely.
There's no way. No way. How would they operate? They want all that urban stuff. That one, I can go plenty of time on that. All right, let's take a tiny little break. When we come back, I want to finish this story. Maybe we'll crack open another one. Who knows? Stick around. Let me see you on that chat over there at the Rumbles. We appreciate you guys. We'll be right back. Oh, I was hoping the folks could hear that commercial. Guillory and Barnhill title. Hey, Robert D. Benoit, appreciate you guys. Hey, I don't have my contacts in, but I do see that you posted a link. Is that PG-13 that Robert D. Benoit posted? I'm kidding.
See if I can open it.
I'm sure it is. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Hey, to all our Rumble folks, to all of our YouTube folks, man, we appreciate you guys. Happy New Year to you. We're in a commercial break. We got a few more minutes left until we go back on air and go live. But, man, this stuff in California, hey, we're covering it. Can they see that? Is there a way?
I'm going to try.
We don't know yet.
I don't think I have a way to easily. And embarrassingly, it's because I don't know how to take a screenshot on a Windows computer.
Oh, I can show you how to do that. Control print screen. This is live, by the way. I hope you guys can see it. Well, anyway, we're going to work on that. But look, the more we use Rumble, and I say we, I mean, it's you too. So thank you guys. It gives us, I don't know, we're just getting better and better at it. But these are the kind of things. So Quentin has you can't see it. We're going to try. But he has a website up. Oh, it's Robert D. Benoit's website. And it's the Tax Foundation. Yeah, good site, Robert. And you could go on there. So go to rumble.com, go into the chat, go to Robert Benoit's post. He has a link on there. And you could see this. How does gas tax compare in other states? States like Louisiana, not doing too bad. California, boy. Woo! And Chicago, or Illinois, excuse me. I see they're pretty hot and heavy. Oregon, the usual players. New York. Note that Massachusetts is not that bad. All right. Hey, but look, it's kind of crazy, man. So we're going to go into this next segment. We're just going to keep talking about it some more. And, it's just more of the same, guys. And, these guys get in government. And I can relate not understanding necessarily the weight that you carry with your words and actions. Sometimes it's a little learning curve, I will tell you that. But at some point, you got to get it. And if you surround yourself with good folks like Robert Benoit, this guy, I know I keep bragging on him, guys. He's probably blushing. But it's important to surround yourself around folks like that, man. When I got in office, for example, I never was in office before. Never been in office. I didn't know about government. I knew about what the people wanted. I knew why I was elected. And we went and did everything we said we were going to do and more. But I had to surround myself around guys like Robert Benoit, who's been in government, local, and state, and other folks, Sidra Wingard and all these other guys and gals that could put us in the right place. These folks can do it too. These folks can do it too. And they can do it with their own politically, ideologically aligned folks. Just do it with a little common sense and say, hey, you got to think. Your words carry weight. And just because your emotion feels this way, just because your emotion at the time feels this way, doesn't give you that right to have the weight of government press the scales in your ideology, because you won't always be there, but the power will. The power will. All right, we got about 30, 40 seconds. You're doing a really good job over there. I wish folks could see. Are you at the point where you can switch it over?
I think I could, but not in time.
Not in time. All right, guys. Hey, so look, you saw us in real action, right? live, trying to figure that out. But look, we do appreciate you guys. Stick around. Thank y'all. Y'all joined that. That chat. Yeah, I see you, Robert. State by state tax comparison. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, look, we're gonna go back about 10 seconds. We'll be live. Gotta learn how to get that music. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on rumble.com. Shout out to our viewing audience at KLFY Plus, KLFY Plus. Hey, if you hadn't checked out KLFY Plus, very cool. There's my understanding, I think there's only 3 Plus channels in the state. The news station out in Baton Rouge, the news station out, one of the stations in Baton Rouge, one of the stations in New Orleans, and then KLFY here in Lafayette. Other channels have their streaming services, they have their websites, and it kind of feels like an app. And they have apps, and they're great, not saying anything, but I did find it to be pretty cool that right here in Acadiana, where we broadcast from, and we're a part of, KLFY Plus, you have that available too. You have your regular daily lineup, and we're at the 3 o'clock spot. But you can see other things too on demand. You can see a whole bunch of cool things locally, nationally. So it's just another source, just like KPEL and our other teammates. We certainly appreciate it. We're all in this fight. We can either choose to be in it together or not. You know what I'm saying? Not a big deal. All right. So again, I want to talk about what matters here with all this stuff. Gasoline, $5 a pop in California. Who cares, right? Outside of California, you go look at that state. Man, if I lived on the border, I'd be getting my gas in Nevada or whatever it is next to it. You know what I mean? Like I would not be. Arizona, I'd be a customer. Big time. All right, but this is why it matters, because this is not a mystery. This is not like something we have to go in fairyland and find out. This is also not bad luck, because I'm sure some politicians over there are going to say that. And this is not a sudden market surprise. It's going to be a market impact without a doubt, but it is not a surprise because they knew what they were doing. This is the predictable result of elite political ideology driving energy policy without regard for real-world consequences, and you can't say it really any other way than that. Refineries are not closing because Americans stopped driving. They are closing because of the policy environment, or should I say the policy environment, makes it irrational to keep them open over there. When regulators pile on mandates, we talk about the tax stuff, but mandates, lawsuits, carbon penalties, and uncertainty, when you have all that, capital leaves, man. Capital leaves and jobs leave. We know in Louisiana, we know what it means for these jobs to leave and how hard it is to come back, if it comes back. But that's why they're closing. When capital leaves, supply shrinks. When supply shrinks, prices rise. And to my folks on the Democrat side, this is not a conservative opinion. That is like really, really, no joke, basic economics. And here's the part that needs to be said very plainly, very plainly. The people designing these policies do not feel the pain. Gavin Newsom will never stand at a pump wondering how to afford gas. The activists cheering these little regulations do not budget fuel for a commute, a job site, or a family business. Guys, this is elite governance. Feel-good rules written by people insulated from the cost, imposed on people who cannot escape them. And this is where it stops being just a California story. California, again, supplies fuel for Nevada, for Arizona. If California refineries shut down, those states do not magically find replacement gasoline like overnight. This could be something big. Not saying the sky's falling. I'm not even close. But all these guys compete for imports. Arizona, California, Nevada. Look at the geographic area they're in. Imports cost more. Imports don't strengthen necessarily always Americans' interest. Transportation costs more when you do all this. Prices start to rise even more. That hits working families. Democrats, not my Democrat friends, not the regular folks. Joe Public Democrat, I'm not saying most of us all agree on things more than we disagree. I'm talking about the Democrats in office that have lost their mind. It hits working families, the people you say you're trying to protect, and all your little carbon feel-good elite nonsense. It hurts the people that you say you're for. It hurts minorities. It hurts the small guy. It hurts the small business. It hurts the family on a budget. It hurts the people that are real folks that you, elitists, are blessed to serve. And it is serve. It is a service job. It's designed to be. It's designed to be. It's not, government should not be a social anything. On the local level, okay, sure, because you can kick those guys out quickly if they get crazy. But you can't at the federal level. They never leave. The power never leaves. It just keeps on going and going and going. So we had some late callers at the end, guys. We got like 10 seconds. Man, try calling back in the second hour. It's going to be hot and heavy. Kill switch. Well, good afternoon, my friends. Yes. Oh, yeah. I got you over there. I got you, Kill Switch. Go check them out at rumble.com. Hey, guys, stick around, man. When we get back, let's switch stories a little bit, shall we? We got so many things like Syria, CENTCOM, whole bunch of stuff. Maybe even those stuff going on with Majura's land. All right, be right back.
We can push.
Man, guys, what's up to our Rumble folks, to our YouTube people, all our folks streaming and all the good things. Hey, we're in a commercial break, as you know, about to get into hour number 2. We're going to switch over to, what were we just talking about? Because I'm going to go to Syria, but what were we just talking about?
We were talking about the Public Service Commission regulating.
Oh, yeah. So the state, yeah, exactly. So the gas, because we were thinking like, man, Arizona and Nevada, they had no vote in California's Kool-Aid drinking hippie nonsense. I don't know what else to say it, okay? Pie in the sky that's not real, all right? They had no vote on all that stuff that impacted these refineries that closed. But they are dependent on this, like bad. And we were talking, so in Louisiana, we have like we have like bodies like the public service commissioner that could possibly help out. Or you have to go do traffic right now?
Nah, I got like 3 minutes.
Oh, we're good. So, but even if there is some kind of regulatory body that would kind of look out for the people in these kind of purchases and stuff like that, or if I say purchases, in this case, regulation, I would assume, but even if they do have something like that in California, it's California. That's not Nevada or Arizona. So kind of interesting how all this works. And we know there's agreements between the states or the actors within the states, but I am sure there's legislative overrides, like subject to budgeting, subject to whatever the legislature is doing or public policy or something. So just something to think about, folks, as we're in this commercial break. What you got?
Kill Switch says, good afternoon. All we have to do is keep taking Maduro's oil tankers. That'll solve the problem. And it's interesting you say that. California only allows one specific blend of gasoline to meet their environmental standards.
How is that not a dormant commerce clause argument? You know what I mean? Like you're negatively impacting and needlessly negatively impacting the flow of interstate commerce when you do that. And I don't know if that argument has been made. If not, I know a guy. Y'all call me. I'm not licensed in California, though. We'll have to get Pro Hoc Vici status. We'll get a local council over there that shares in our interest. Let's go fight one for the team. Team America. America, folks. All right. Hey, look, Q's got to go do the weather over here. He's looking at me. I think he's getting a little nervous. You going to be all right?
Yeah, I got 1 minute and 23 seconds. So every second closer, like I can feel my heart rate go up.
We don't want to do that
to
you.
ADD.
That's okay.
I'm scared I'm going to look away from the screen.
We got you. We got his back. All right. Hey, look, stick around. We'll be right back. And thank you guys for tuning in. Get that app chat rocking. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. And for the first time, I think I did this right, TikTok Live. Yeah, go to Josh Guillory. Why not? Why not all the things and all the things? All right, so let's go. Hey, again, I want to give a shout out again to Billy Nungesser, our lieutenant governor, doing a good job representing the state. You know, lieutenant governor has just like other offices, has a very limited role, and one of the roles is to promote the great state of Louisiana. So, a lot of competition out there. To start off, you got 50 states. Start off with that, but you know, you gotta get the most bang for your buck. So when you're in front of the folks, how do you get to the biggest audience with the most return on investment? And Lieutenant Governor Nungesser, I think he's hit a home run with this Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade and the Rose Bowl parade, which is coming up on New Year's Day. You'll probably see our Lieutenant Governor. He's usually on the float. So, hey, just, you know, we're talking about California, and we're talking about negative. I wanted to talk about something positive, because there's more positive than negative out there. And the sky's not falling, even with all that gas price stuff in California. But we need to be aware because of the impact that it can have on other folks, too. All right, we are going to switch gears, my dear friends, and we're going to go to the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, military. So United States Central Command announced today that American and partner forces have intensified military operations against ISIS, either eliminating or capturing nearly 25 ISIS operatives in Syria since a major strike earlier this month. Now, the report was reported by, or the update, should I say, was reported by Alex Nicksberg over at Fox News Digital. That's the story that I'm going off of. But it comes as the Trump administration continues sustained counterterrorism operations overseas, with more of a focus on being proactive. You're seeing that with the fight against the drug cartels. Instead of letting the drug boats come to America, disseminate all the drugs, and then we go find it with all the constitutional protections out there, or you could meet the enemy in the ocean and engage and destroy the target. And that's what the president has decided to do. By the way, not an easy choice. Not a good choice. Two bad choices. Two horrible choices. And, you know, but you got to make a choice, because it's coming. Where, you know, you put yourself in those shoes. Go make those decisions. Got to make a decision. What we were doing wasn't working. It's kind of like economically with our economy. What was working, or what we were doing, was not working. We were getting screwed. Now we do these tariffs. And no tariff is the same. No tariff is the same. But the president's making it more painful, costs more to do business outside of the United States instead of inside the United States. And I would say that's the first time we've used the tariffs in that manner. I think every time we use them has its own specific wrinkle. But I digress. Let's get back to Syria. Now, these missions that we're talking about, specifically 11. So CENTCOM says at least 7 ISIS members were killed and others captured during 11 missions carried out between December 20th and December 29th. And this was across Syria as well. Now, those missions followed Operation Hawkeye Strike on December 19th, which was a large-scale joint operation with Jordan that hit more than 70 ISIS targets using over 100 precision munitions. The strikes involved fighter jets, attack helicopters, artillery, the ground coordination, and destroying ISIS infrastructure and multiple weapon caches. So over the past 12 months, U.S. and partner forces have detained more than 300 terrorists and killed more than 20 ISIS operatives in the region. CENTCOM has confirmed this. And, yeah, you know, if you recall, these operations, they come out weeks after 2 Iowa Army National Guard soldiers and a civilian interpreter were killed in Syria during a terrorist attack. So here's the part worth understanding, because, you know, you've got to know the got to know the facts, and you got to get somewhere. You got to go from somewhere. But there is a deeper thought here, especially for people who don't live and breathe military briefings. It's not most people speak that language. ISIS is not gone. I want to make sure we say that, but it is degraded, and it's fractured, splintered off. It is hunted for once in at least 5 years. It's hunted, it's pressured, but it's not gone. We have to be real about these things, and that distinction matters. You know, when CENTCOM, which is Central Command, we have all these commands around the world. Think of them as big armies, individual armies. We have a couple of them gathered, and that makes our whole military, okay? And it's way more than that. Any military gurus are like, you just botched that, but you get the drift. You get the drift. But what CENTCOM is describing here is not a new war and not a sudden escalation. I just want to clarify these things. It's sustained pressure, something that we've been lacking for about 4 years. It is denying the enemy breathing room. It is preventing regrouping. These guys on the run are not as strong. It is taking away leadership, logistics, weapons, and safe havens before they turn into headlines back home. Said differently, we are bringing the fight to the enemy as opposed to being on the defense. It's a cruel world we live in. It is. We can always, on 9/11, 2001, we couldn't say then, well, if we only did this, only did that, this could, because it happened, all right? But there are things amongst us right now, in our day's time, right now, that we could stop doing or start doing that prevents us from having to say, well, if we only did this or that. And that's why this awareness stuff is important. Very important. So, very important to categorize that. Now, I would say, though, when you talk about modern counterterrorism, this is kind of what it looks like. It's not a banner moment. It's not a victory speech. We don't have anything behind us or anything. No posters. It's a grind. It is a grind. Like, this new modern counterterrorism is not a clear-cut linear battlefield. It hasn't been like that for 20 years, but it's even developing even more. It is a grind, a quiet operation. It requires precise strikes, intelligence-driven missions, multiple partners coordinating across platforms, across jurisdictions, and a constant reminder that the enemy only needs one opening while we have to close all of them. So let's take a tiny little break. When we get back, we'll finish this topic and move on. Q-Dog. All right, stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. Also on X. Go to my X page, at Josh Guillory USA. Very original, very original. So we were talking about increased focus, shall we say, increased operations focused on ISIS abroad as opposed to fighting ISIS here, okay? Not saying we weren't fighting at all for 4 years, but they surely weren't fearing us too much. Not at all. Not at all. Now, again, ISIS is not destroyed. This is a huge win, though, huge win from our military, for us, for our allies. I mean, anytime you can engage and destroy the enemy at that scale in that isolated of an operation, it's a win. And, the folks back home may not see it, may not understand it because, that's usually done outside of our presence. But, boy, I'm grateful for all those guys and gals that do put on the uniform and fight these battles that we don't know about. And I know you guys are too. So let's keep them in our prayers. But we talked about this is kind of what counterterrorism looks like today. Definitely, no victory speeches or anything like that, but absolutely intelligence-focused. Very, very intelligence-focused, very precision strikes, but it's a grind. Counterterrorism is a grind. It is a quiet, boring operation. Complacency is what kills when you're fighting terrorism or when you're engaged in counterterrorism. Complacency kills. The enemy is more patient, at least in that regard, usually than Western society. No, I'm not going to say that because there's terrorists in Western society, so I'm not going to say that. But complacency, I will say 100%. Complacency definitely will kill. So we got to be vigilant. Now, the other thing folks should possibly understand is why Syria still matters. Why are we talking about Syria? Who cares? Syria sits at the crossroads of multiple terror networks. Regional instability, power vacuums, we can keep going. When pressure eases, ISIS historically has found space. We got to take that space out. You can have my space, but you can't have that space. Get it? You get that? That's good.
Somewhere Tom just laughed.
Somewhere. CENTCOM's message, that's the command group there. CENTCOM's message is simple and deliberate. Pressure stays on, no gaps, no pause. Pressure stays on. Zero gaps, zero pause, zero hesitation, 100% focused. But this also explains the emphasis on partners. The United States is not acting alone. And look at this. Jordan, I think that was the country, either that or Jordan or Turkey, didn't let us fly over their airspace in the invasion of Iraq. I think it was one of those. But regardless, Jordan, regional allies, just an example, local forces, all of these are part of these missions. All of these entities are part of this broader mission. And that matters strategically and operationally. It limits ISIS' ability to move and to hide or even rebrand under a new little cute little flag. Gonna get us a little marketing specialist. We need to rebrand ISIS. Be more kind. Do you think they're DEIing over there in ISIS? Boy. Hey, do you think all these young folks and professors saying to the river, to the sea over there, hey, y'all think ISIS cares about affirmative action? ISIS wouldn't even let women vote if they could.
Or wear pants.
Yeah. Come on. To the river, to the sea. Man, y'all talking about the Mississippi River. I was going to say Vermilion, but our folks outside this area may not know. But our partners, they're very important. We want to limit these guys. We want to limit the enemy's ability to do all those things and strike us. Not a fun gig. Not an exciting gig. Though people think, war is boring. War is monotonous. And in these kind of urban warfare, this is not urban, this is counterterrorism, which is in urban terrain most of the time. Or a lot of times, I get it. But there's a difference between sustained urban operations, and there's different levels there too. But it is when I say a grind, a just tedious, boring, monotonous grind where you're just ramped up all the time. That's why. But anyway, I digress. But for folks, watching on Rumble or on KLFY Plus or any of the platforms we're blessed to be on, or listening on KPEL, this is the uncomfortable truth. Counterterrorism success rarely feels dramatic. It just doesn't. When it does work, nothing happens here. Think about it. It's like fighting drainage. You never see what we did because you just don't feel it anymore. And I say we, that means everybody, a collective we. But you get what I'm saying? Terrorism, it's not a dramatic thing. It is a horrible war. It's easier to fight. Well, never fought in the linear battlefield. I'm sure those guys would disagree with me because they have their own hell and horror. That every war is different. I'm just going to stick to that. How's that? Don't want any fights at the VFW. You get a little hot, these little young GIs coming in. Think they... Wait, am I the young GI? Well, Quentin, you could have laughed harder. It makes me feel like I'm not the young GI. But hey, this is not about politics, man. The Trump administration, though, the Trump administration's posture here is steady. It's not flashy. It's not hesitant. It's focused on outcomes. Like I say, he wants to win. I like that. But keep ISIS disrupted. And look, the next administration that comes in, keep ISIS disruptive. Keep all these guys disrupted. Keep American targets harder to reach. Keep pressure constant. When you chop the head off of that snake, there will be 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 more. Chop their head off too. But you bring the fight to the enemy. You don't let the enemy bring the fight to American civilians and American property. But, the update matters. The mission continues. The pressure stays on. ISIS does not get a reset. They don't get a Hillary Clinton, Russia reset button. Little reset button. Hey, guys, let me tell you about my friends over there at C-Safe, man. When strength matters, when custom matters, when failure is not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. C-Safe. Hey, check this out. C-Safe's products, they're American-made. And they were American-made before all these tariffs, before all these, pressure and all this stuff. American-made and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Go check them out, man. csafe.com. SEA, just like the ocean. Stick around. We'll be right back. What? Let's see here. What's up? I mean, is this on purpose? Is this on purpose, Q?
I mean, it wasn't originally, but
I mean, look
we
at
can
this.
work with it.
Hey, my Rumble folks. All my YouTube folks, all of our YouTube, rumble.com, man. Thank you. We appreciate you guys sticking around, joining the conversation. Man, each and every day. I think we have a lot of followers right now or viewers on X, so we appreciate that too. Likely at my personal page, at Josh Guillory USA. Appreciate you, man. Look, join in the conversation. You could do so on the social medias. You can jump on Rumble like my fine folks over here. You can chat, or you can just watch and listen. It's easy. What you doing over there, Q? We're in a commercial break, by the way.
I just thought about the map that I took a screenshot of earlier, and I'm not sure where the screenshot saved. So I think that's going to be my latest.
Hey, I just found it. We're going to figure out a way to get some more, as a one football coach when I was in high school, some gadgets and gizmos. We're going to, shout out to Coach Boniel. But we'll figure out how to, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. It's pretty neat. So Robert Benoit in our chat on Rumble dropped a little link that's pretty interesting. You can see the comparison in gas prices. And it's alarming. I mean, look at the states that have policies that basically do everything but kick the oil and gas industry out. Their gas prices are through the roof. I mean, California, when you put their carbon penalty tax and all that silliness and their regular 79 cents, I think it was, tax on every gallon, it's over $1. So every dollar is more than $1 going for every gallon. That's crazy. Literally more than doubles the price.
Yup.
That's nuts.
And the whole time they say they're doing it for the environment when they're going to have to import oil using oil tankers.
Thank you. Come on, man. All right, guys, you can't make this up. Look, we're going to take a tiny little break, like 20 seconds, and we'll come back live. They can see it? Did you really? Oh, how? Nice. It had me live. You sure?
Nope, it was.
Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios, sometimes even in commercial. Hey, we're human. Also broadcasting live on Rumble, our YouTube channel, and all the things. Hey, man, our phone lines are open, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. We were talking about, Sean, I'm going to come right to you. We were talking about Syria and the increased efforts to fight ISIS abroad as opposed to being reactive and say, please, 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 please come and hurt us here. You know, taking the fight to the enemy instead of allowing the enemy to take the fight to us. But let's see here. We got some other things I bet to talk about. But, you know, Sean always brings some wisdom. Sean, what you got, baby? You're going to top hour number one because you brought the heat hour number one.
Yeah. So the only thing looking back now, 20 years later, that I agree with George W. was fight them over there and not fight them over here. So we know that Obama was just trying to take down America. I think, in my honest opinion, three things are going to happen. You're going to find out he was a Muslim, he's not a citizen of the United States, and he's a homosexual. And the Biden administration was the third term of Obama. And what did he do? He brought all of these people here, and we're going to have sleeper cells awake. And all these Democrats say, oh, these people aren't illegal. And I think it's because of the app that Biden brought out where, oh, if you just tell us, hey, you're here, you know, you're not illegal, actually, because you told us.
Yeah.
But
you're documented.
we are not 1 year removed from being hit by an ISIS sympathizer in New Orleans, and they're ramping up right now to try to not have that happen again. I think we're going to press them, and they're going to hit us hard. We're going to have to fight back very, very hard because they're here, and we got to get them out.
Hey, Sean, appreciate that. Good thoughts, good thoughts. Well, let's hope the doomsday prediction doesn't come true, doggone it. But, hey, look, this is definitely, there are definitely people listening and shaking their head and with Sean on this, okay? I got it. I don't know about that with all the President Obama stuff, bold accusations require bold proof. I tell my wife that. Bring them dang conspiracy theories. I keep saying, how are you the smartest person I know? Because she is, I'm telling you. If I would have listened to her on some of my choices, I wouldn't have some of the scars I got on me. Wise and patient lady she is. All right, so let's go back to the phone lines. Warren, what's up, brother? Bring the heat.
Well, Sean's right, because I've already seen Obama on tape, and he said, my Muslim faith. Then he went, oh, my Christian faith. But he, what's in the heart comes out the mouth. So, I'm going to tell you, I thank you because you let us talk about corruption on this station. We were shut down for so many places we would go try to talk about the corruption that's going on, and our state, what it does to our people is incredible, how they steal it. And, I guess that's why Trump picked our governor to go over there and steal the wealth of another country. Who better? Get Jeff Landry over there, take all them minerals from them people because they don't play fair. I've seen the dirty stuff those countries have done. But, I thank you. You preach to us. We need to hear the word. But, I thank you because after you preach to us sometimes, you don't never try to sell us liquor or rehab services, and then make no apologies about it. But anyway.
Love you, Warren.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate you, brother. Always bring the heat. Always bring the heat, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. When you say a point, I was just going to let that no. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. All right. Yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting. We'll see. Now, let's go to, this one, boy, guys, this is going to make your blood boil. It made mine. But we're going to do it in love and kindness. So, new report from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, because that's what's in the Constitution, right? We should have a federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. I could see Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. Well, TJ was kind of left out of that one. But James Madison, I could see him and Benjamin Franklin, all these. Of course I can't. Any Department of what? They would have said, what? The federal government, what? Anyway, so yeah, look, this is a new report coming from HUD. And it was first reported by Rachel Wolf. I want to give credit over there at Fox News Digital. But it reveals that billions in taxpayer-funded rental assistance under the Biden administration went to questionable recipients, including tens of thousands of deceased tenants and large numbers of potential non-citizens. Well, if they can get them to vote for them, jeez. We know all about that in Louisiana. But a few little facts here. But let's go to Renee first. He's been patient. All right, Renee, what you got, baby?
Yeah, I want to say that, they complain about the genocide and how the Palestinians are hurt. The general population has no memory, short memory, or downright, in the media, downright biased and stupid. The history of illegal immigrant to Europe, the radical Muslims, they'll have a billboard with a mother and a child, but usually, like predators, the strongest and hardiest ones are the ones that get there, that attack the German women and the French women. And whenever it's the West, we have movies, documentaries. When the Titanic sinks, it's the women and children first, before the men. We're supposed, even when this man-hating age and man-hating population, we're supposed to defend women. That's our culture. But Islam, they're like the communist Viet Cong. Except they didn't put explosives on their kids to attack us yet. They will hide behind their women and children.
All right,
shoot
thanks.
at us.
Oh, thanks, Renee. My mic went out. I thought we hung up on. Oh, okay. Miscommunication is basically what it is. It's my fault. Hey, thanks, Renee. Look, I want to clarify a few things here. We can't be, and I'm genuine about this. We can't be attacking Islam. We can't be attacking Muslim faith as a whole. You know, that religion has been hijacked by radical Islamic terrorists. But you got to call that what it is. Because let me tell you, man, we all come on our journey. We all come on our journey. But I got in my journey so far, I've been able to meet a lot of Muslims, a lot of Muslim community. I'm just telling you my experience. Very peaceful, very community oriented. Different culture. A lot of order. There's structure. There's some structure there, and that might not be similar to certain households, most households in Western civilization. But we are the land of the free. But we can't paint with a broad brush. So I'm just saying, we can make our points without that. All right. So a few little facts. HUD's fiscal year 2025 agency financial report. Now, this is coming from the federal government. This is fiscal year 24-25, so 2025. Their own financial report found that about 30,000 deceased tenants received rental assistance payments across all 50 states. See, the issue was uncovered after HUD finally, watch this, cross-checked its records with a U.S. Treasury database. Like, that's all they did, okay? I mean, HUD also flagged thousands of payments to potential non-citizens. So look at fiscal year 2024. It's all public information, by the way. HUD distributed roughly $50 billion in rental assistance. $50 billion in the fiscal year 2024, with about $5.8 billion labeled as questionable payments, okay? So that's about 10% questionable. HUD officials said New York, California, and Washington, D.C., common denominator there, big government, Democrat-led, they all saw the highest concentration. All right, so the department says that the Biden administration pushed money out very rapidly with minimal oversight, failed to equip HUD with proper verification tools. So we're going to see how this story plays out. But first, let's take a tiny little break. When we get back, let's wrap a bow on this and call it a day. All right, we'll stick around. I am. You are. Q is. Good? All right. What's up, my Rumble folks? Quentin's got me over here in the circle. Anywho, Hey, look, man, that's pretty interesting. We're not going to be able to finish this entire. I'm not going to be able to cover all the points I wanted to cover when we get back from break, which we got about 2.5 minutes left. But man, if you look at it's just one example of fraud. Waste and abuse. We use this title, but man, this affects like real people, like real human beings. So we're going to see this, but I think it's just another attribute of big government. And think about it, student-teacher ratio. It has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican or anything like that. Even Democrat causes can be more effectively carried out at the local level or the state level, but surely not at the federal level. And that's what I'm talking about. Like even conservatives and liberals, we do agree more than we disagree. Like what I just said. If you want to live in a city, I'm not talking state or country, a city where you got all these taxes to go to all these feel-good little pie-in-the-sky stuff, and that's important to you, and it's important to your local community, wonderful. You go live in your land of utopia, and we support you, and we're high-fiving you, and we're saying, y'all, you be you, boo. But don't mess with me because we carrying guns, we carrying Bibles. You get my drift. If you have different ideology, great. But all that non-government stuff is designed to be held at the local level. And the local level can figure out if it's important to the local needs. Maybe roads are more important. Maybe some other infrastructure. Maybe fire protection in your county or parish is needing an infusion of resources. Perhaps it's more important to your community to fund those priorities as opposed to the feel-good stuff. But right now, you don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. It is Big Brother in the government, either state or federal, telling us what to do all the time. We got about 20 seconds, I think, huh? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I was on a roll. I'm kidding. Just kidding. Maybe, am I good on that, Q, or are we going to, all right. Hey, look, guys, stick around. We got about 15 seconds, and we'll do our last segment. Appreciate you. I think you can. I have to. Oh, am I live? Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on rumble.com. And shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We certainly appreciate you, too. This segment's brought to you by our friends over there at Stan's Auto. Man, I'm telling you, look, I'm not a car guru. I'll be the first to admit. So I just call Stan's. Hey, this is what's happening. Like, because I know they'll shoot me straight. That's all anybody can. That's why we listen to this show. It's why we do the show. We just want truth. So shout out to Stan's. Appreciate the support for the show, but I, as a customer, appreciate you too. And they're right by Reds, guys, here in Lafayette. And they have a second location in New Iberia off of Admiral Dole. So y'all check them out. And if you see Sterling, my boy, hug him for me, give me a high five. Me and Quentin, tell him hello. All right, so we're talking about all this HUD report about this federal program, rental assistance. Sounds great. Good idea. Good idea, Ferrick. Plucking people in the forehead. But let's give the folks the benefit of the doubt. Let's do it, because this is not an abstract accounting problem. What we're seeing here is actually like real time, real money meant to keep real people housed. Again, you have one party that actually cares. Well, you have one party that says they care and then does the 100% opposite, 180. We're figuring some stuff out on the other side. It's a net positive. I'm telling you, I'm happy. But look, when tens of thousands of checks, like I just want to put this in perspective as we are in the final 4 or 5 minutes here. When tens of thousands of checks go out in the names of people who are no longer alive, like I'm trying to get through this with a straight face, that tells you the system stopped functioning at a basic level, like basement level. We wouldn't know anything about it, South Louisiana, but basement level. Sea level, how's that? That's something we can understand. Oh, and notice how this was found. Notice how this is found. Not through day-to-day oversight, okay? It showed up only after someone finally ran a simple database match. They match it to the Treasury Department's database. All the same public or access to the public information. All extension and arms of the same federal government. Knock on the door and ask. An email. How about a little email? We got email. I mean, Secretary Clinton has room on her server. Some of our audience might be like, what are you talking about? Which we appreciate that too. But look, it only came up again because someone took the idea saying, hey, we have this data in our department. We got this suspicion at least of maybe dead people were getting rental assistance and someone's cashing those checks. And by the way, we're not talking about checks that went out, oh, these are deceased people, here's the check back. What we're talking about is like 30,000 plus that HUD has reported so far, 30,000 plus where them checks were cached. Man, that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. And it tells you everything you need to know about how loosey-goosey this whole operation had become. You know? And again, guys, and we talked about this on the break with Rumble, this is the downside, one of the downsides of building massive federal programs without building equally massive accountability. You see what I'm saying? You need the accountability systems to go with the federal programs. The money moves fast. The rules get complicated. Responsibility gets outsourced. And eventually, no one is clearly in charge of asking very simple questions like, who is actually receiving the checks? I think even more importantly, who's cashing these checks? Whose ACH debit or deposit is it going to? I mean, does anybody listening or watching, does anybody think what I'm asking is hard? These are stuff you would ask. These are things most Democrat, Republican, Joe Public's going to ask that. And this is what happened in the Trump administration just now, and that's good. So here's the deal. You can care deeply about helping people, which most of us do, and still demand competence. Those two ideas are not in conflict. In fact, incompetence hurts the very people these programs are supposed to serve. Think about that. Because every single dollar wasted is a dollar that does not reach someone who actually needs help. Again, you could do it at a fraction of the cost at the state level instead of the federal level. You can do it at a fraction of the cost to the state at the local level. Secretary Turner's statements cut through the fog, man. He's like, look, we're going to incentivize people doing their job. We're gonna disincentivize weak controls. I like that, so stay vigilant. Man, I wish we had some more time. Oh, my goodness. Look, shout out to all of our viewing audience. Q, we going live tomorrow?
We are.
Yes, all right. New Year's Eve, bring the firecrackers, but bring the, colorful ones. And by the way, public service announcements. Make sure you bring your pets in and your disgruntled veterans. Okay, fireworks are crazy. All right, guys, God bless you, man. Be careful out there. Woo, may God be with you and be kind.